Welcome to GBIRL, the podcast looking at the real business world of esports, gaming, and streaming with the people and personalities behind it all. Here is your host, Bill the Conqueror.
All right, thanks everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. I love stories, and I love the story of growth. And I have with me today, you see him on the screen right there, Citizen Snipes. And I want to tell his story specifically because I've watched Snipes grow from Fortnite. He and I had some interactions, tried to put some plans together, didn't work out. He's been growing and evolving, and then he decides one day he's just gonna go from where he's living to a completely different location. So he stops streaming to move. He comes back. He's running Fortnite tournaments. Then he switches to Warzone. And in this whole process, I really think that there are lessons to be learned for everybody who wants to be a streamer, full-time, part-time, people who want to be partners, that whole process. And so I got a person that I hope I can call a friend. I have Citizen Snipes with me today. So Snipes, I know you're a busy guy being a full-time streamer. So for making time for me today, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Of course. Like you said, I definitely am your friend, so I'll always make time for you, Bill.
Thank you very much. Okay, so I ran into you probably online about maybe a year and a half ago, and you were streaming. Yeah. So you're streaming Fortnite, and you're actually doing decent numbers. You were doing okay, and you were running tournaments like a lot of tournaments. $5 tournaments here. You had some weekend stuff that would just blow up, and man, I watched your stream, and you're like, I mean, you got it down. You're looking at chat. You're playing at the same time. You're holding 4 conversations at once. So those early days when you're just kind of starting out. So sort of talk about what made you decide to stream in the first place. Why you picked Fortnite. Why you chose to do tournaments. Just some background on yourself.
Yeah, so it was actually kind of a funny story. One of my buddies started streaming before me, and I started playing with him, and I caught on to the game pretty quick, and I started a little late. I was like season 3.
Okay.
And they were just like, hey, you're pretty good. Why don't you try streaming? You know, you're not really doing too much with work right now. And I was like, you know what, I'll try it. And after 2 months, the support was insane, so I just decided to dive more into it. You know, I bought more equipment. I started taking it more seriously. And yeah, I just noticed myself like going to the top in terms of, you know, like stats and leaderboards. And, you know, I started gaining some recognition for that. And I don't know, people just kept coming to me and they said, hey, do you want to play? Like, I really like you. And it was crazy. Like, you don't really expect to have that kind of, you know, interaction that early on in streaming. So that's kind of what pushed me to want to stream more. Just that, you know, whole community engagement and like, you know, just that unexpected aspect.
Okay, so you're growing, you're getting lots of interaction, you're kind of blown away. So when you got your first, I guess, phone call / email from some product brand service, they're like, hey, Snipes, we like your stream, we like what you're doing, would you want to work with us? So the very first time that you got that sort of a contact, what was that like?
Honestly, so the first ones were a little weird.
Right.
There's a lot of companies that kind of prey on smaller streamers. It's just like, oh yeah, you know, put our, you know, tag on your stream and we'll give you your community 10% off, and then like we'll give you like $5 like forever. I'm just like, I don't know about that.
Right.
Like I think that's something that a lot of streamers neglect, is that like, you know, your value as a streamer. Like regardless of your size, you shouldn't, you know, you shouldn't start branding yourself early with other people's products, especially if they're not going to help you.
So right there on that point, when you're talking about value, was there an event? Was there a moment when it hit you what exactly your value was?
So I feel like I kind of had to create my own value. So I don't know if the people that are watching know this, but I am, you know, a family-friendly streamer myself, and I try and keep my content as clean as I can. And I feel like that adds a lot of value because brands are looking for someone who can, provide that kind of content.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably like what 0.01% of the streamers on Twitch,
Okay.
which so I just built upon, certain things. Like, I'm very interactive with my chat.
Mm-hmm.
My community is very engaged. They support me in a lot of what I do. Like, I'm family friendly. It's just all those things that add on. Like, your value doesn't completely derive from, hey, this is my follower count, or hey, this is my
Mm-hmm.
view count.
Right.
Like, there are a lot of other factors that come into play, and that's how I found my own value.
So, okay, so did you find your value and then find your followers, or did you find your followers and then find your value?
I think I found my value first, and that's why I got those followers, if that makes sense. Because,
Yeah.
like, a lot of people came to me because it's like, oh, he's a good player. Like, oh, I want to play with him. Oh, but also he's like family friendly. I can watch him with my family,
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I think I made my value first and stuck with it.
Okay.
And that's what people noticed, and that's why they stayed.
See, that's really interesting because I distinctly remember early on when I was watching you I think you had some parents and their kid in chat, and you ended up playing with the kid, and the parents were watching alongside with the kid and watching your stream, and it was just like this really awesome sort of like gaming bonding experience for the kid and the parents were like, wow, we thought Twitch was just this horrible toxic place, and you're here, and you really helped out our kid, and we're very, very grateful. And I think that I think humans in general spend a lot of time focusing on the negative aspects of things.
Oh, 100%.
Right. And streamers like yourself, where you go out of your way to say, hey, look, we are PG-13. I want the language at a minimum. No strings of swear words. You can be mad. That's one thing. But setting but setting your standards early is a real key. So you're growing, you're Fortnite, you're doing really well. People love you. So at what point did you decide to start doing tournaments?
So I started noticing that because at a certain point, like I said, I like to interact with my community as much as possible. So I did viewer games and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then at a certain point, it's like there are too many people to, get through in a day. Like, at the beginning, it was like, oh, we have 3 to 6 people,
Mm-hmm.
I can get, like 3 to 4 games in with each of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it switched when I was like, oh, I have 40 people who are trying to play with me. And I physically can't do that in one stream.
Right.
Yeah, like it just wouldn't be fun. It would be like, oh, all right, that was like a 10-minute game. All right, guys, see you later.
Right.
So I felt like the most engaging way to do it was to do a tournament, because I will tell you, a lot of the most competitive people watch Twitch. I would say that's a vast majority. Like, even if they're not, playing in the competitive scene,
Mm-hmm.
they want something that they can relate to, because a lot of these players look up to, the pros. That's why those are the most watched players on Twitch. So I thought tournaments would be the best way to, bring the community together and have fun at the same time.
Nice. Okay, so in the process of those tournaments, were you like offering coaching services and things like that?
I actually was.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically, if we would do like, duo or trio or squad tournaments,
Mm-hmm.
I would offer, if someone wanted to be my partner, I allowed it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, it would be X amount for this hour, and I would also help you.
Mm-hmm.
I would coach you through, like, teach you the strategies of how, to like move in the game, end game, like what items you should and shouldn't carry, like when you
Mm-hmm.
should and shouldn't shoot. Just small things that a lot of people don't really, take into consideration, but will, change your game in the long run.
Very nice. Very nice. So along the way, were there other streamers that may have not been like the super high end names like Nick Merckx and T-Few? Were there other streamers that you followed and tried to emulate?
So I don't think bigger stream, like when I say bigger, I'm saying like, in the thousands.
Mm-hmm.
There were definitely a lot of people within the hundreds of viewers, but I would say mostly it was a community thing. So it
Okay.
was actually kind of weird because when I did live in California, the whole premise was that the West Coast was very bad for Fortnite in the sense of
Hmm.
they have a gated community for the practice scene.
Mm-hmm.
So what me and a lot of other streamers did was we started these tournaments to help people get practice that couldn't get into those servers.
Okay.
So it was just the best form of practice that was open to everybody because yeah, there was only one server for practice and it was gate kept very very tightly.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So you're growing. You're interacting with your chat. You got some things working for you. Positive aspects. Everything's looking great. So
Hmm.
so when you finally hit that threshold, the first time, the threshold where you've streamed for a certain number of hours over a certain number of days, you're averaging 75 viewers. You're hitting those benchmarks, and
Yeah.
you decide I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna apply for partner. So you fill out the application, and what happens?
So I think my problem with that was I was so focused because obviously every streamer's like biggest goal is to just like hit those numbers and then
Hmm.
send in their application right away.
Right.
And I think that's what ruined my chances with the application.
Oh, okay.
So I literally hit the 75, sent in my application,
Hmm.
and then I let those numbers dictate how it would stream. And I think that's what really affected me.
Okay.
Like, if I'm streaming and I'm like, oh, I have to keep that 75, like, and I noticed I've been at 70 for an hour, I think I'm gonna end the stream early, and that's
Okay.
really what hurt my own personal growth and I guess my chances for partnership as well because I just wanted to keep that 75 so bad for the duration of the application.
Okay. So the first time you applied, you didn't get it, and
Yeah.
then you decide you're gonna keep working and keep growing, and you applied a couple more times, and you didn't get those either, did you?
Yeah, so I applied a total of 3 times.
Right.
The first one was a little iffy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the second one, I think I had about an 80 viewer average,
Okay.
and that time it wasn't so much dictated. Like obviously there was, a little bit of hesitation for how
Mm-hmm.
long I would stream and whatnot,
Right.
but they really didn't give me a reason as to why.
Okay.
Because I held, those numbers for about a solid 4 months,
Wow.
and I don't know. I think it was because too many. I don't know. I can always speculate, but I honestly
Mm-hmm.
don't have the answer. My only guess is they were partnering too many Fortnite streamers, and they just wanted
Mm-hmm.
to pull back and be more selective.
Okay. So you apply 3 times, you're denied 3 times.
Hmm. Yeah.
So okay, I'm sure it would seem to me that each time you apply and get denied, it feels worse and worse and worse. So what are some words of advice that you can give to people who are grinding to partner?
Yeah.
Maybe they've applied once or twice and been turned down. I mean, I'm sure that you've learned some things along the way.
Yeah, so the main way I'm going about things now is I know it's a little cliche, but I like to say, like grind for yourself, not for something else. Like,
Okay.
if you go in with a mentality of, oh, I'm grinding for partnership,
Hmm.
it's going to put you in that cycle that I put myself in. Like, oh, I need to end stream because my viewers are lower than 75, and it honestly caused me a lot of, I don't want to say mental issues, but my mentality about streaming changed
Okay.
from, when I started and I'm like, oh, I'm having fun, I'm engaging with my community, to, oh, this is my job. I need to hit these numbers
Hmm.
or else I'm going to be, failing myself when in fact, like, it was just hurting myself. And I just had to change up my mindset because honestly, at the end of the day, partnership is a very small difference. It's like, you get some more emote slots and you get a check mark and you get like 50 more cents on a sub. So
Okay.
it's not really like that, game changing.
Hmm.
But yeah, obviously I will still strive for it,
Hmm.
but it's not the end all be all for me anymore.
Okay. So it basically you learned really really fast that you have to enjoy what you're doing, because if you don't enjoy it, then your community won't enjoy it, and if your community
Oh yeah.
doesn't enjoy it, then they're not going to want to hang around, and things just kind of snowball, right?
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, they will, the community will definitely catch on. I even had people like direct messaging me, and they're like, "Hey, is something wrong?" I'm like, "No, nothing's wrong." And they're just like, "Oh, I don't know. I've just noticed you're like a little more on edge lately."
Yeah.
And like in my head, it's like, "Oh, because I applied for partner,
Right.
and I don't want to risk anything."
Yep.
So they definitely noticed it without me even thinking I portrayed that.
Right. Okay. So you're grinding along Fortnite. Partner application denied 3 times. When did
Mhm.
you realize that Fortnite probably wasn't going to get you to where you wanted to be and you had to shift games?
I think it was a hard realization about 4 to 5 months ago.
Okay.
Um, I don't know. I just realized because I started, switching it up. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to do a little bit more variety, and I tried Warzone for a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and my viewership absolutely plummeted.
Yeah.
So I realized that, I wanted my community to like me for me, not for the game I played.
Okay.
And I feel like Fortnite is very clicky in that sense. Like,
Okay.
a lot of the viewers are Fortnite viewers. They're not Twitch viewers, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
So I felt like I need to make a switch because if I want to play a different game, or, I want to do just chatting, like, although I did build a great competitive community,
Mm-hmm.
that community was only there for the competitive nature. Like, I had people who would visit, daily, talk to me for hours on end.
Mm-hmm.
And then right as I said, "Hey, I'm gonna play Warzone today," didn't show up. Not a single word.
Hmm. Okay. So you had cultivated this community around Fortnite. You have a
Hmm.
very active stream, a very active Discord server. You're on socials. You're doing great, but you realize you're just not having fun anymore. It's just you're just not enjoying yourself. It's a job, and it's not something that makes you want to get up each day.
Yeah.
Right. So your viewership drops, you shift games, and you decide to go Warzone. So you chose Warzone over like PUBG, PUBG, and Apex Legends. Talk about your thought process on that one.
So I kind of weighed it out based on how much I like the game. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
that was my first priority, but also based on the communities. So another reason why I left the Fortnite community is, like I said, I try and bring a lot of positivity with my streams,
Right.
but the community can get very toxic. Um,
Yeah.
that was another main reason. Like when I would run these tournaments, people would intentionally ruin them to get at me
Wow.
because my growth was so fast. Like I went from 30 average viewers to 120 average viewers in the span of 2 months.
Wow.
And these people would come into my stream for hours on end. If I streamed 6 hours a day, they'd be there 7. They'd be there waiting. And I would get Discord DMs from them, and they're like, "Hey, when are you streaming? I want to ruin your games." And it got to the point where that drove me off of Fortnite.
Wow.
Um, it's a shame that some people think that way, and it's honestly ridiculous. I even got death threats from Fortnite because I was running tournaments.
That
And,
is that. Oh gosh, dang it. So okay, then I can honestly say that I don't blame you for wanting
yeah.
to choose a different game. So I guess to get back to more of the streaming aspect,
Hmm.
so you're going along in Fortnite and you realize that you can turn this into something full time. When you shifted from Fortnite to Warzone, was there some of trepidation where you're like, wow, this is my viewer numbers are down. not the same sort of interactions. It's more of me and friends playing and people watching versus a competitive nature. Was there ever a point when you kind of shifted that you weren't entirely sure that you could keep doing this full time?
Oh yeah, definitely the first month. The like, the transition period was definitely the hardest.
Right.
Because going from because it slowly declined after I stopped running tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
So I averaged about 40 after I stopped running tournaments. And then when I hit Warzone, I was so intimidated because
Okay.
I didn't see much interaction in the chat, and I'm used to always frequently talking.
Right.
And I always keep my viewer count off because I always say regardless if it's 5 or 5,000 viewers, I will stream the same.
Mm-hmm.
Because you want to put out the same content,
Right.
And yeah, I checked the numbers and it was single digits, and I just felt a little bit of ashamed because it's like I've gone all this way
Right.
just to start back, where I was 2 years ago. And yeah, it was definitely hard in the first month.
Okay.
And that's when I knew I had to change something. Okay. So that was probably the biggest switch for me. I just started posting on other socials because, as a lot of people, like, they don't really realize, but Twitch isn't the best platform to grow on, or not the easiest platform to grow on.
Right, right. So, okay, so you switched to Warzone, and that was the moment about a month in where you realized I gotta be active other places. And let's talk about this because this is an interesting business concept that not a lot of people can fully understand. So you start, getting a little bit more active on Twitter, getting a little bit more active on YouTube, and then your TikTok just kind of like blows up. And I was watching a stream, I think it was last week, you showed your phone. You got like 41,000 followers on TikTok, right?
Yeah, it's been pretty wild. I believe in the past 6 weeks, I've gained about 30,000 followers on TikTok.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is interesting because I've heard a lot of people say that trying to get people from TikTok to Twitch to watch you live, mm-hmm. it's often hard to do. So what sort of content have you focused on posting on TikTok that encourages people to come from TikTok over to a Twitch?
So I would say I kind of stemmed back a little bit to my Fortnite. Like, everyone just wants to be the best at that they can be at a game,
Right.
So my most viral content on TikTok is like tips and tricks. What are the best items to use in the game?
Okay.
How can you improve your game sense, your keybinds, all that stuff. And then, obviously I try and add a little bit of comedy as well. So to, get some of the meme content from Warzone. And yeah, I just, it's crazy. I actually asked my chat yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been crazy. So, in the span of 2 months, I went from 9 average viewers, and I was looking at my analytics for yesterday, and I had 32.
Wow.
Which is insane growth for literally just posting on TikTok. Like,
okay,
the conversion rate is a little bit lower, but it definitely is worth it.
Okay.
Because you have those people that come in and they're like, "Oh, hey, can you help me out with this?"
Mm-hmm.
And I say, "Yes, let me show you in game how you can do it better."
So that is an interesting lesson to learn, is that people, from my perspective, people see TikTok as like a community lip sync dancing comedy sort of a platform, but you've really turned it into, like, taking a 30-second video and saying you need to pick this gun versus this gun, here's why, or if you're running at if you're running at the a quarry, you need to have this kind of a loadout versus if you're running at a superstore. And I think mm-hmm. those sorts of pieces of information are the sorts of things that people that so they aren't necessarily competitive, but they just want to be better at the game, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I also have started incorporating, doing a little bit more viewer games, and it's kind of crazy. It, like even though I just started on TikTok, I have people like, "Oh, I'm your biggest fan. Like it would mean the world if you play with me."
Right.
Like they get on the mic and they're like, "I'm shaking right now. I can't play. I can't play." And it's kind of crazy. And they're like, "Oh my gosh, thank you. You got me my first win. Like my friends are gonna freak out that I have a win and they don't." And it's just like
Right.
everyone just wants that feeling of, hey, I did it. I got a win. I'm getting better. It's just a great feeling.
Right. And that, and that's definitely something that I can, I can feel, because there's something about gaming where you follow a person for their useful content, and then you get to talk to them in real time. You're like, oh, I just watched your video on using C4 the right way, and now I'm actually talking to you, and I was watching that video.
Yeah.
I was watching the video, and I had a question about the video, and they ask you, you're like, well, you can use C4 in this specific situation, but it doesn't know. They're like, oh, now I get it. And it's just sort of that really immediate interaction of, I made this piece of content and now I'm talking to you in real life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. And it's wild to think, like, I was also talking to some of my friends about this, like, just looking at the comments on my TikTok, like I said, it's probably been like 6 weeks to 2 months max of me like taking TikTok seriously.
Right.
And I have people saying like, "Oh, will he respond to me?" And it's like, I don't even think I'm that big yet. Like,
Right.
it's just a simple like, "Yes, I saw your comment," and they're like, "No way," and it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, yeah, and I've enjoyed following your story. I've enjoyed following your thought process, your growth. You're in Fortnite. Fortnite is the most popular game on Twitch, and you're just like, this isn't working for me. This is not who I want to be. And you shift to Warzone. You're like, wow, I went from 60 to 4. I'm okay. I got to do something different. And you're like, let's try TikTok. Let's try Twitter. Let's try a little YouTube. And so I think that there's a lot of lessons in there. So to kind of wrap this and kind of put a bow. So when you're down like that, I mean, making that shift is a big move, because a lot of people get wrapped up in those numbers, but you're like, this isn't me. It doesn't work for me. When people are down like that, when you were down like that, what were some of the things that you told yourself in order to keep on going?
So I always like to think of things like in multiple aspects. So, I would obviously talk to my family. They were probably one of the biggest supports. It was just like, if this doesn't work out, we have plenty of backups. Like, I did graduate with a degree in marketing, so it's like, I didn't put too much weight on my streaming career, in the sense of there is the possibility to fail. And I know it's kind of a negative way to think about it, but it's something that a lot of streamers go into streaming not realizing, that there's, several million streamers, and, it is possible not to make it. So I feel like once I got that background, I was able to go in more fully with it, because without that fear, I could keep going and keep streaming, So if I know it can go either way, I'm going to put my all into it.
Okay. See, and that's an interesting thought process, because some people come from the mentality of, I'm going to do this, and failure isn't an option. No matter what, I'm going to keep on pressing. But then there's the other side of that, where you're like, okay, I could possibly fail. I could not hit the marks that I want. It doesn't mean that I'm going to try any less hard, but having the perspective of, okay, what if this doesn't actually work? And so that's a really interesting thought process, especially from somebody your age. That you definitely have this like awareness about you that just like blows me away, and I'm like, that's why I like you. That's why I like you, is that you realize, okay, so here's some perspective. You know, I have a degree, so I have a little bit of understanding of how a business should work. Mm-hmm. And so that's really fantastic. Snipes, you're a fantastic dude. Thank you thanks for making time for me. So if people want to follow you on TikTok and Twitter and all the good stuff, where can they find you?
Literally just Citizen Snipes on everything. Same name across every social.
Very, very nice. And your stream schedule?
So I stream 6 to 10 every day except for Tuesday Central Time.
Okay.
But I also am considering starting streaming early because surprisingly I have a lot of people, from the UK. So we'll see what happens, but
yep, I'm the same way. For the people that I'm interacting with a lot of time, it's a lot of people in the UK, Scotland, Great Britain, things like that. I'm like, maybe daytime streams are a little better, because I mean you end up meeting people that you wouldn't normally have in your stream, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy the reach that Twitch has.
Good stuff. Snipes, thank you very much for taking time for me today. I know you're a busy guy.
Thank
everybody.
You so much as well.
Check out Snipes on Twitch, twitch.tv/Citizen Snipes. Follow the TikTok. The guy's amazing. Thanks for tuning into the podcast. Check out all the stuff on the YouTube. Like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you for tuning in today. You can find links to everyone on the show in the description below. Check out Bill the Conqueror on Twitch and Twitter to stay up to date on his thoughts and ideas about gaming culture.